Hello, there it is. We're live. Let's see. Did I get unmuted? Unmuted. All right. Should be working. Let me know in the chat. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Here's the watch. AVDW check. I'm going to be opening up Zoom pretty soon. I know there's at least one person in there waiting. I don't know who it is yet. I see there's 18 viewers, $4.99 already. Thank you. That was, I think, Tony Wallow. Is that what I saw earlier? Where is it? There it is. Yep, sure enough. Tony Wallow starts off with $4.99. Thank you so much. And I see Tony in the chat says AVD is good. Let's pop over here to the chat window and see what do I need to catch up with. I have seen some of this before starting the show. Vladimir Pendovsky put in a link regarding Linux, says he's not sure if that would help. He doesn't know Linux very well. Let's see, there's some chit chat going on between people, some teasing back and forth, and that is kind of the way of things here on this channel. Please don't be offended or be upset if you see that people can kind of be a little, it's not sharp with each other. They're teasing each other. That's all it is. In good fun. Let's see, installing Android, no. And saying hello to people, I suppose. Ken and Vladimir and Blackwatch, Sam Lazar, Chris Garrett, Aaron Werner, hello to you too. Let's see what else we talking about in here. Looking to see if people have hit me up in orange. Comments about Easter. Some conversation going on about CBS, as in broadcasting companies. What was it, Australia? Yeah, Australian Broadcasting Company. And then Gary's specifically saying hello. So Gary has my cell phone number, and that's why I put the watch down on the ground. He can text me if there's something that I need to be informed about what's going on with the stream. And also Aaron, Atex Aaron, but I haven't seen him in the chat yet today. Now, William Dawson, hello. Let's see, who else has hit me up in orange? Sam, I suppose that's a hello. Gary has walked into the room again. I wonder if he will remember why. And that's what I'm talking about, teasing each other. It's fine. It's all in good nature. Please don't be offended if somebody teases you and you're not really aware of the attitude behind it. Let's see. I want to get pretty quickly into the content or the subject of today, because it's my hope, if we don't resolve this during this session, that somebody will watch this video later on and come up with the genius solution. So I want to get into it pretty quickly so I don't lose them if we're taking too long to turn to that. Here's a bunch of orange stuff. Hello, Garth from Chris to me. What is Garth? Do I remind you of Garth Brooks, I'm thinking? Blackwatch, Susan says I refuse the 2 cents. Gary, everything fine. Alex is in the Zoom now. Okay, hang on, Alex. I'm going to give a description of what's going on today before I bring you in, and whoever else comes in. The credentials are the same that they've been in the last several streams. If you'd like to come into the Zoom session, send me an email asking for the credentials, and then put a note in the chat letting me know you sent an email. I'll send the credentials to you. Alex says the AVDW is good. I have a free cheat sheet command line for Linux from my university resources. Okay, so let me introduce what's going on here. These two computers over here. Now, you'll see behind me, over my left shoulder, that camera in the doorway. So when I hit this button, you see me on that camera. So that shows these two computers we're dealing with. And I can't see the screen when I've got you on that view. Oh, but you can't see the screen. Maybe I need to move that around a little bit. Yeah, I might do that. All right, and then if I show no, the keyboard camera is not going to be useful today, probably. So I've got these two computers accessible by my capture device. So let's show this one. I think I've got on. Yeah, this is Google Chrome set up on this computer. And I installed one game on it, and it's this bus simulator right here. And when I click on that, it comes up. I guess that camera over there is okay if I'm showing the screen big like this. It's still loading that. This is a little bit intense because a lot of graphics on it, but this system is not, you're over there. This is not going to do things like, what's that real popular game where they build stuff? How come every time I try to remember that game? But anyway, the interactive adventure games, it's going to be more like for table games. For these 3 or 4, three residential apartment buildings that are government assisted living, these all-in-one computers are for them. There's going to be 3 of these computers in one office, or in one of the apartment buildings, and 2 of them in the other. The third one doesn't, they're not large enough yet for them to want those computers. So here's a game running on the Chrome OS on this computer. So what I did is I used Macrame Reflect to take an image of this drive with all the partitions, there's a lot of them, and I restored it to this computer, and it came up the way that this one is showing right now. And then I tried it by using, oh boy, this is going to be the day for words, a forensic image, and restored it. I got exactly the same results. So let me show you. I'm gonna move the cable here. Let's try that camera, I suppose. Now let's see if that comes up. All right, yeah. So this is what happens when I turn this computer on. It's got a Chrome OS shown up there at the top, and then this second option is Chrome OS settings. Now, if I choose either one of these, press the Enter key on either one of these, here's what's happened. I get error, unknown file system, error, you need to load the kernel first, press any key to continue. It seems to me that Linux is there and present. There's just something that's not letting it load that Chrome OS. Now, if I come down here to Chrome OS and press the Enter key, I get exactly the same thing. I suspect that there's probably some Linux command or setting or something that I can do to fix that. Now, the way that I installed the Chrome OS on these computers was by using instructions that I found that the links for this are in the video notes, the show notes for this video. And so I'm going to bring that up on screen and show you those links. Let's do that here. No, that's not a good way to get it. Right, where is, oh, I got top chat there. Okay, then I'll just come over here and show it. Okay, yeah, here. In the description below the video, you can click on that now. If you don't see these hyperlinks here, then refresh your browser, because I only added these about, I don't know, 20 minutes before going live today. So you might not see those in there. So these are the links. This first one is the overall instructions, and contained within that is all of these other links. I think there was one in there that wasn't in there. So then I think yeah, here it is. So these are the instructions that I used. And I used the instructions specifically because this one said how to install Chrome OS on a PC with Play Store support. Because not all of the methods for installing the Chrome operating system on a PC work with the Google Play Store. And I specifically wanted that because I needed these games to work. Now, this one over here is making some noise while I've got that game sitting there. So what I'll do is I'll just close that game so it stops annoying me. Now, let's go back over here to chat and see what people are saying at this point. Zoom now. Okay, so here's where we start. Ken, hello Doug, long-time listener, first-time caller. Yeah, that's not true. Ken's been on this show a lot of times. Alex, AVDW, good. I already read that. Linux cheat sheet. Say that 3 times real fast. No thanks. Has lots of commands. I'm hoping to find somebody that knows what commands I need, because it seems like this shouldn't be very difficult. Perfect sync on my end. Synchronization. Oh, okay. My words match my lips, I guess is what you're saying. Just so you can concentrate on the video, I've posted the link to the Zoom in chat. Okay. Well, did you already do it? I'd rather not, because that's we got that troll in here by posting the credentials in the chat. So I'd rather not do that. But you said that you have posted. If you've already done that, fine. We'll go ahead with that, and we'll if we get another Zoom crasher, we'll just deal with it. But I don't see that. Google Play services, yes, with this installation method. What is today's session? Is this about Linux? Yes, but I am not a Linux expert, not by any means whatsoever. I'm only using Linux because I've got these computers that my clients' offices, they're apartment buildings, government-assisted apartment buildings. They are required to provide computers for the residents to be able to use, and mainly they want them to be able to play games, and just it's in the recreation center basically. And I've used various different methods of doing that. And this time, after a period of time, the computers get kind of slow and clogged up, and they need to be refreshed, right? So I brought them in, and I thought, gee, I wonder if I can set up Google Play Store somehow on this, or find some better way, because all the ways that we've been doing it just not been very good. And so in combination with Windows 11 coming up and a lot of computers that can't work on Windows 11, that might be a large resource of computers that could be utilized with a Chrome operating system for basic web access. Because there's a lot of people that really only use their computers for web access. And that doesn't require the Windows operating system. And with Windows 11 and the higher processor requirements, I thought I want to give this a shot. I've spent way too much time. I can't bill my clients for it. It's an educational experience for me. And hoping I find something really useful. SimCity, SimCity is probably going to be too complicated for these processors. These don't have dedicated graphics drivers, adapters. So yeah, Minecraft, that's the one I was trying to say, that it won't be able to run that on here. Minecraft is an iOS and Android as Minecraft Pocket Edition. Minecraft is on iOS and Android as Minecraft Pocket Edition. Well, Pocket Edition might have lower requirements. Maybe that would work. Ida asked myself the same question. Ida, did you see my first message about secure boot? I did see that, and I have disabled secure boot. And you can see on the computer that's working, it's working. Okay, Chrome OS, Chrome operating system, it's working. My problem is when I'm trying to image that to another computer, because I don't want to go through that entire installation process. It's pretty time consuming. And I want to be able to set up a bunch of games on the desktop of one computer and then replicate that to the other computers by doing image backups and restores. So yeah, I saw that about secure boot. Thank you for wanting to help with that, but I have turned that off, and the computer is booting all the way to Chrome operating system and is functional. I tried instructions from ETA Prime, who used the same methods. It failed for me. Now, this was several weeks ago, and I did have a little bit of struggle getting it to work. And I did not make a video out of it because it was just too much. It was going to require more editing time than just redoing it once I know how to do it. So if this comes out to be a worthwhile project, then I'll make an instructional video how to do it. And I see this picture-in-picture right now is my Zoom camera. So it's on autofocus and it goes bad once in a while. So there, I got to go over there and turn the camera off and on again to refresh that. And I've got the Zoom session as the picture-in-picture, even though I haven't admitted anyone yet because I intend to. So Blackwatch, well, let's see, that's not towards me. As always, this is just another chapter in Doug's continued journeying through a state of confusion. Yanks call it California. Yeah, that's pretty much right, hit it on the nail. Zvi Menor says, did you try the OSF clone? I did not, Zvi, but thank you. That did get my attention towards forensic clone, because when I looked at that, it appeared that was its shining ability, that it was going to do a forensic clone. Well, I can do forensic with Macrame Reflect. So when I do the restore for Macrame Reflect, Linux is running. It is launching. And it looks to me like it's probably something fairly knowable or understood by Linux experts as to what to do to it. When I looked into that OSF clone, it just felt more time than I felt optimistic about that it would be the solution. And at that point in time, I had not tried the forensic in Macrame Reflect. So thank you for bringing that up. It did move me to the next step or the next idea, but I have not tried it. Now, also part of that is Zvi Menor got very interested in this subject matter, and he's done some testing, and he sent me information about the testing. Thank you so much. One of the things about the system that you were using, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said that it did not support the Google Play Store. And so that diminished my interest in that. Now, when you were successful with that OSF clone, I'm assuming that means when you restored to another computer, you were able to get the Chrome operating system functional. But then still, it's without the Google Play Store. So that was of limited interest to me. Then Jeff, I suspect there could be a problem with the bootloader. Perfect. Yes, that's exactly where my thoughts were lying, because there's a bootloader that happens before Windows happens, before Linux happens, before the iOS happens. There's this, I think iOS has that too, but this bootloader is on a hard drive that tells the computer where to look next for what operating system to boot. I really do think there's something about that, and a Linux expert should be able to point me down the right path. I'm hoping. Assuming that Chrome OS loads like other Linux distros. Yeah, now understand that this is actually Linux loads first, and then loads some kind of Chrome OS. So it is Linux. Jeff waiting in Zoom. I'll pick you up in a moment, and whoever else is there. First commandment of Linux, thou shalt not install me without consent of Blackwatch. Okay. Chris, I think Blackwatch is kidding. Never can tell about him. Yeah, I'll go along with that. I think he's kidding. Chris is going to be back in 20 minutes. Blackwatch timed him out for an hour. Alex, can you type on the terminal prompt? If you can guide me a little bit to where to go to try that, we'll try that. And then Let's see. Jim says, I know enough about Linux to install it or set up a dual boot system. That's about it. And that could be enough. I don't know. Have you tried using a dual port USB dock to perform a sector by sector clone of the drives in question? No, not a dual port USB dock. That has limited interest to me because that's going to make it pretty cumbersome if I have to open these all-in-one PCs and remove a hard drive in order to clone from one to the other, because down the road these computers will get messed up by the people using them. I want to be able to restore a clone to them. Now, sector by sector, that basically is what a forensic clone is, and that is what I've been doing. Booting from a USB thumb drive, so that's the operating system, and then it does a forensic clone of the drive while it's in the computer, not in the USB dock. I don't think there'd be any better of a forensic clone by doing that. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. I have Minecraft PE. It is paid. And Linux, if Linux is launching, do a boot repair and grub2 terminal. That sounds like the type of thing that I need. That sounds like it actually could be the solution. So we'll try that. You mentioned Linux. Is that to do with Macrame Reflect Boot USB? No, the Linux I'm referring to is the hard drive on these computers boots a form of Linux, and it's in those links I showed you. We can go look at that in a moment if we so choose. But there's actually a Linux operating system installed on the hard drives. The thumb drive that boots Macrame is Windows PE. It's not Linux. And then let's see, I'm going to see if I can get these caught up. Nope. Only with OSF clone I managed to boot with the clone disk in another computer. None using other clone app. I got the same error as you. Oh, you got the same error. All right. So only with OSF clone. So operating system F, forensic. Operating system forensic clone. I'm going to guess that's what that word right there means. I managed to boot with the clone disk in another computer. None of using other clone apps. Okay, so none of the other clone apps that he tried, he got the same error as me with all the others. I'm going to kind of paraphrase that. None of the other cloning apps worked. He got the same error that I was getting with those. But with OSF clone, he was able to boot with the clone disk in another computer. So that still shows some hope for that. It just seemed a little cumbersome to even create that. Hello from Mike. Hi, Mike. Confused, do not know what you're doing. Par for the course here. And yes, you know, that's the area that I like to live. I like to live in over my head. You know, I'm 30-year computer consultant. I know what I'm doing for what work I do for my clients. That's not always what I'm doing here on this YouTube channel. Zavi, I never said that I installed OS Chrome without the Google Play. Okay, my mistake then. I never said that I installed OS Chrome without the Google Play. So the Chrome installation you were using does work with the Google Play Store? Is that what you're saying? Thank you for making me mod on your channel. It was nice of you to do that. Hello to everyone in the chat. You're welcome, Speedy Z. Vladimir Pendovskov. It's got a link, a general link here to Ubuntu. I have no idea. Are you telling me that link has the potential solution or has a solution to this specific error? I did notice that you said earlier in the chat before we started the live stream that you're not really an expert in the system yourself. So I don't know. Did you just do a Google search and throwing me a link that has something to do with Ubuntu? Or is there some reason why you think that link would be of interest to me? Javi Manor is, okay, there's the link for the OS forensics tools. I'm going to copy that. No, that's not going to let me. I'm going to try to paste that into the description of this video. So that it's available later for anyone watching the video. Oh, that does that great big long thing. It doesn't let me, oh, paste as plain text? No, still not. Still wants to do that redirect. So let's see, if I edit this down, let's see if I can do this. https://www. Was that it? osforensics.com/tools/create disk images. And then I'll save that. If somebody wants to test that, you can refresh your browser and you should be able to find that link. Click on that link. Let me know if that link that I added to the video description works. I'd appreciate that. Okay, so I'm kind of almost caught up here with this stuff. I want to get over to the Zoom, people that have joined us in Zoom. This link shows how to do boot repair in Grub2 terminal. Oh, is that what you put up here? Oh, awesome. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and bring that up in a new tab. Got that one. And we'll also bring up the link that Zavi gave me in another tab. There we go. What Linux are you using, Mint? I'd have to go back and look at what those links in my description notes say. And this is the method that Zavi used for installing the Chrome OS. Oh, it says with Play Store. Okay, great. Well, the one that I was using had a similar title. Was it also? Oh, it was also B-Bomb. Oh, it was the same one. It looks like I used the same one, Zavi. Let's come back here to my video notes. Is it B-Bomb? Yeah, right here in my video notes, it was B-Bomb. So it was, yeah, I used the same one that you used. Okay, perfect. We're on the same page then. Aaron's here. Hello, everyone listening in the background while working. Aaron, if you see something wrong in the video, please send me a text message. And Gary is here also for that. To be able to do that. Is there no command to rebuild the boot file? I'm thinking that is what people have been showing us. What distro? Okay, so as far as the distro, let's go back here to this link. This is the instructions that I use, so we should be able to see pretty early. Oh, by the way, well, no, let me get to that later. I did something to my streaming computer I want to tell you about. UEFI support, Rufus, Linux Mint Cinnamon. So that's the Linux distros, Linux Mint Cinnamon. Okay, coming over to Zoom and see who we've got. 4 people entered the waiting room. Let's go just view and admit all. Alex, Darren, Gary, and Jeff. Here you all come. 27 current viewers, 11 likes. Thank you everybody for being here. All right. Oops, somebody's got needs to mute their volume on their YouTube video. Let's get this right. So I got to figure out who that's coming through. If one of you lights up with a yellow line around you, I'll know that, and I don't see that. Okay. So here you all are. Hello. Let's start with Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Can you say hi? Whoops, I got to unmute you. Jeff, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, Jeff, if you can hear me. I don't think he can. All right. How about Alex? Can you say hello?
Hello.
Hi.
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. People in the chat, let me know if you hear Alex okay.
Okay.
Darren just spoke up, so I heard Darren. Glad to
How
have
about
you.
me?
And there's Gary. So people in the chat, did you hear Alex, Darren, and Gary? And Jeff, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me now. Yes, he does. Okay, can you say hello, Jeff?
Hello.
Yes. Okay, try that again. It was a little quiet. Hello, Jeff. Jeff, can you say hello again? I think he's still got some audio problem. So here's Ken Stout coming in. Now I'm going to turn off the waiting room. So anyone else who comes in can just come right in without me having to go let you in. Hello, Ken. Say hello.
Hello, Ken.
All right. There we are. And we got good full number of people there. Got a set of 6. And then here I got somebody else making a comment about Linux Mint. Right here, Sam Lazar. It is Linux Mint, which is based on Ubuntu, and that Linux distro uses the Cinnamon desktop environment. Okay. For all those who care about that or know what significance that is, which is not me. Needs his Garth wig. There's the second reference to Garth. I don't understand what Garth is about. Only Garth.
Remember the email I sent you?
The email you sent me, Ken? Oh boy, you're taxing my memory if you're asking me to pick out a single email that you sent that made mention of Garth.
From Wayne's World?
Wayne's World. Okay, Garth is a character on Wayne's World, which I don't know that very much. So is that what's
taking your picture and Garth's picture, we're morphing it in.
Oh yes, yes. You were gonna do something with that. I never saw it.
It's still in the working.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm looking forward to that, and that is something that maybe I'm a little unique about. I don't mind being made fun of or even criticized in the chat or in comments. I don't block people for that purpose. I will block and hide people for being vulgar or spamming us or being mean to other people who are participating on this channel. I give a fairly flexible for people taking jabs at each other that are obviously in jest and fun. Then let's go. Oh, we got Only the Guitarist. Hello, who is that? Do you have a real name? Only the Guitarist. Can you say hello? Not gonna speak to me, huh? Maybe he's still messing with his settings or something.
Blackwatch.
Yep.
Oh, you think that's Blackwatch?
Yeah.
You think it is, or you know it is?
No, thinking either him or Diamond Sweat.
It seems to me that somebody else sent me an email that identified them as guitarist. Only the Guitarist. So I don't know what's up there. All right, coming back here. What do we got here?
Okay.
Oh,
no, excuse me, Doug.
Yes.
What exact instructions did you use for setting this up?
Did you not hear me say put those links in the video description?
Yeah, but I mean, did you go 1, 2, 3, 4 right down the list, or?
Oh yes, yes I did.
Oh, gotcha.
And pretty very close. Very studying it. And struggling over it sometimes, and so yeah, and it keep in mind it does work. It is working on this one computer just fine. So I think I'm successful with the instructions of how to do it, but those instructions did not include how to image that to another computer. That's where the problem is. Only the guitarist. Are you going to say hello now? Or... Oh, Jeff dropped out. Not hearing anything there. Zavi Manor is here.
Yeah, Jeff said he accidentally dropped out.
Okay. And Zavi Manor has dropped out, so maybe he'll be back. Dropped out of Zoom accidentally. RM says, yay, LOL, OLE, Doug getting a new look for sure. Not sure what that is. I doubt that that's just because I have a transition effect going on now. And Sam, install 1 by 1 without clone. Yeah.
Gotcha. I see what you're looking for. And I mean, Ken, Doug,
Say that again?
have you tried or looked at Acronis to do your clone?
I have not tried it. I don't own it. Acronis is no longer free. And that doesn't feel very attractive as far as a likely resolution. There's been people who have already put things into chat of a potential solution. So maybe it's time to start looking closer at that. Boot repair.
The reason I said I have Windows 11 running, and I have Ubuntu and Windows 10 running as virtual machines. And what I'm saying is if I can pick up all 3 of those, you should be able to pick up 1.
Well, this looked like it's successful for restoring the image of Linux because it is booting Linux. It's just not booting this Chrome OS part of it. So I think the imaging of Linux was successful. All right, so this is one. Oh, I know it. I'll just come over here to the links that I put in that people provided. Boot repair, grub rescue, grub terminal commands, grub troubleshooting. And then over here is OSF clone. This is the other cloning software. So when I looked at this was the link that Javi Manor sent in regards to the cloning that was successful for him for cloning the Chrome operating system. So,
Hi, everyone.
oh, Zvi, you're here. Hi.
Hi.
What did you say?
I said hi. Hello.
Oh, hi. Okay. Yeah, your sound is a little muffled there. Try saying hello again.
Hello.
Yeah, that's not very clear. What microphone are you using? The headset or a webcam?
The headset.
The headset. Yeah.
I changed the camera with the mic on the. Just a moment.
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. I think he's going to try a change there because that microphone wasn't doing very good. But then here's the things that I found in this. Download the OSF clone zip and extract it to the directory. Let me make this bigger. Of your choosing, and then remove the USB, plug the UFD you'd like to use for booting. Must be at least 2 gigabytes. Start image USB by double-clicking that. From image USB window, first select the drive you'd like to use. Ensure the right to UFD radio button. Browse button. Finally click. You know what? I don't think this is I don't think I read this through close enough to be justified. So since this was successful for Javi, for the Chrome operating system, using the same instructions that I was using. Oh, wow. This is real promising. Okay, now this was the instructions that both Javi and I used for installing Chrome. So the only thing we have here for fixing this was this grub command, boot repair. I think we're looking directly to this. Majority of this guide devoted to working with grub2 terminal. Let me make that bigger. To enter command to repair a broken bootloader. See, this sounds like exactly what bootloader just sounds like the perfect word. Boot repairs GUI application. Additionally, boot repair can run from a live CD or an operating Linux system. Sudo. So it looks like this is the command. So does that probably work from any functional Linux system, but I don't know how to get to a command prompt because that computer is stuck at this screen for the Chrome OS and doesn't show me any way to get to a command prompt. So is there some kind of a hotkey for Linux systems to get me to a command prompt? Does anybody in the Zoom session know?
I think so. In Chrome OS, typically the hotkey is Control-Alt-T.
Control-Alt what?
T.
T.
Yes.
All right. Let's see what I have on there now. Oh, I thought that was going to have the Zoom session. No, it only has me, but I'll just say Control-Alt-T.
Yes.
As in
Terminal.
Terminal. Control-Alt-T is not doing anything. Now, what if I get down here to this level? No, that doesn't do it. That doesn't do it.
They can use the method I always use.
I'm afraid to ask. What?
There you ask. Just
What is
turn
it,
it off
Ken?
and back on.
Say again?
He uses the old town.
Turn it off.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly, Gary.
off and back on.
After pushing buttons and trying this and trying that, never
Right.
fails.
Never fails. All right, well, Control-Alt-Delete causes it to reboot. So I'm going to try this Control-Alt-T, tapping away.
Oh, I never thought about that.
I thought that's what you suggested. And
No,
nope,
no.
it came back just that quick. Now I'll actually power off and power on. So what are you seeing when I power that off? Okay, I'm still picture in picture. And you're seeing the boot up sequence. Nope, nothing. It just gets that quick to that Chrome OS screen. So yes, we use the same method, and then background, what else? Linux Mint based on, I already read that, didn't I? Install one by one. Only the guitarist is muted. Have you compared bootloader instruction files for the original and the clone? Have you compared the bootloader instruction files for the original and the clone? I don't know where to see that. That's where do I go to look at bootloader instruction files? Anybody in Zoom know the answer to that?
I'm confused over the whole thing right now.
All right.
I don't really know what's going on. I thought you were just at a command prompt and wasn't able to get to any other screen.
No, that's not the case. I've got this screen where it offers Chrome OS or Chrome OS settings. When I hit enter on either one of those choices, I get this error unknown file system. You need to load the kernel first and press any key to continue. If I wait long enough, it automatically goes back. Yeah, it automatically goes back to this GUI screen for Chrome OS or Chrome OS settings. Now, what about other keys that I could rapid fire during the boot up? You know, is there any point to F8? Well, there is the escape key. Let's try, because the escape key is startup options for the HP computer. There. So gives me system information, diagnostics, boot device options, BIOS, enter to continue startup. But none of that is Linux. I'm suspecting that in order to do that grub repair, I would need to boot to an actual Linux USB device. It would seem to be. Let's see what we got here. You have to be the command prompt, then you can look at the file that the bootloader grub reads. Okay, how do I get to a command prompt? Jeff Ryman, Control-Alt-T works for Chrome OS, but not for Chromium. Chris, it must be hungry, it wants corn. It's asking to load kernel first. All right, you had me going there. Linux rebuild boot from Blackwatch. Bring that up and take a quick peek. How to repair the grub2 bootloader on Linux. See, I think for this stuff for repairing grub, I'm probably gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna try to do that during live stream because it's so distracting for me to try to concentrate during live stream. When grub2 is fully functional, the grub2 terminal is accessed by pressing C. If the menu is not displayed during boot, hold down Shift key until it appears. All right, from Vladimir. When grub2 is fully functional, the grub2 terminal is accessed by pressing C. If the menu is not displayed during boot, hold down Shift key until it appears. So let's try Shift key during boot. Control-Alt-Delete, holding Shift key. Holding. Release and holding again. Holding Shift key. Holding Shift key. That was interesting. A little bit different. There was a message at the bottom of the screen. Oh, and here's something a little different. You got that? Yeah. Failed to boot both default and fallback entries. Press any key to boot. So that was a little bit different. Let's try that again. Control-Alt-Delete. I'm going to hold off on doing the Shift key until it gets past there, manufacturing. When that blue came up, I held down the Shift key. Highlighted entry will be executed something. Oh, there it is. I got it. I got it with the letter C. There's a grub prompt. I think that is good. I'm gonna restart the computer and figure again how to get to that. I think it was just the letter C when I'm at that graphical user interface. All right, okay, now it's still doing that piece. Let's go back to here. Now the letter C, boom. Just the letter C, that's all it took from that screen. All right, so what else we got here? If it still does not appear, try pressing escape key repeatedly. Okay, well it did appear, so we're going to stick with that. And let's see, I'm going to make a change on, try a different transition. I'm experimenting with transitions. Jim says, are both machines set to secure boot or legacy? Secure boot is disabled from both of them, and they both have legacy enabled. And I have tried restoring the image to 2 different computers. Something I haven't tried yet is taking the drive out of the computer that is functional and put it into a computer that's not functional. So that's another option. So now we got C. Now Vladimir says go to the boot repair link with instructions. Perfect. Let's go try that. Repair. Now can I just go all the way down to that? Oh, this isn't the one that had repair part way down. It looks like this one is only in regards to repair, whereas this one over here has repair down, troubleshooting, terminal commands, normal, grub, rescue, boot repair, as this boot repair. So I don't know if these two things are the same. I mean, this one and this one over here. What you'll need, how to repair the boot of the computer, upload to a paste bin, write on a paper in case you still experience the problem. Is this somebody offering to provide guidance? Offhand, just scrolling through that real quick, that looks a lot more time consuming than the 2 lines over here. Boot repair can be run from a live CD or an operating Linux system. Download the package, run the following commands. Add repository. So this is installing something. I think that would actually download something, wouldn't it? And then this get install, that looks like it actually does the repair. Repair from grub rescue, try this. That's from Alex. Get a quick look at this one. Not a whole lot to read through there. From grub rescue. Type set, first parameters, setting some parameters, loading kernel. Somebody there saying it worked perfectly. I'd always like to see that kind of a comment. Vladimir says grub2 is the default bootloader and manager for Ubuntu. Okay. So I think there's a bootloader at the beginning of the drive that directs it to a Windows bootloader, or in this case, a Ubuntu bootloader. Vladimir says, as the computer starts, grub2 either presents a menu and awaits user input or automatically transfers control to the operating system kernel. That sounds likely. And here's another link from Vladimir telling about what grub2 is. Got it. All right, so let's get to those instructions. That was where is it? This one. All right, that's what I'm going to try to get right there. Oh, I know I can get this in front of me. I'll bring the keyboard and mouse over here. And bring up that computer. And let's do, what does this one do? Oh, good. There I've got the Zoom session. So here I can see that grub prompt on the streaming computer, and I got the keyboard and mouse for that computer here, and I can see the instructions over here. So sudo add -apt repository. Is somebody watching my spelling that I don't have to keep looking back and forth? They're all quiet. Ubuntu, I don't think there's a space.
I'm watching.
All right, you'll give me a heads, you'll speak up if I do a typo? Alex?
I'll try if I can see it clear
Oh, is it
enough.
hard to see?
Some of it.
Get update. Okay. So can I Control A to select all of it and copy it? No. Control A actually moved me to the beginning of the line. So I'm just going to hit enter. This
If
is
you hit up, it will. If you hit up the up arrow, it will put the same command in there. So you can, if you need to re-enter it, just hit up.
Okay. So I did that. I did the up arrow key, and apparently I've got something wrong or something about this isn't working because it did not work. So I'm double checking my spelling in syntax. YANNA BUNTU boot -repair $& sudo apt-get. That all looks correct.
You may want to try it without the -get on the apt because you really don't need the -get, and that may be causing a problem.
The -dit? Oh, get. apt-get. You're saying take the hyphen out?
Take the -get off and see what happens with just the apt.
Okay. Like that? Like that, Alex?
I'll put the word get back in there, though.
Oh,
Yes.
You want the word get? Like that?
No, without the word get or the dash.
Without either. Okay, enter. Nope, syntax error, incorrect command.
Put the get back in and see what happens.
All right. Nope. Let me make sure it is connected to internet. Yes, well, the Ethernet cable's connected. The network switch is showing a signal.
And you run a ping command, just like type in ping and then google.com or whatever.
Oh, all right. Can't find command ping.
I think those commands you're trying are meant to be ran from within the actual terminal, from within the operating system. So I think.
Yeah, maybe not from within Grub.
So I think because you're in the Grub rescue system, and the instructions I sent you were specifically for the Grub rescue system.
Okay, so I should go to the other link that you sent, the Grub 2. Well, the Grub 2 is about it. Yeah, one of those links was, let's see, how to repair Grub 2. Is this the one? Whoops, I'm not showing you this.
I only sent one.
Well, I've got several links open. I can't keep track of who sent me what link in my brain. You're overestimating.
No, that's not it.
That's not it? All right, well, let me go back then to your, let's see, Alex here, this one, stackexchange.com. So let's see which one of these. Here it is, Unix Stack Exchange. Okay. I'm installing Debian 9 on HP ProLiant. When I boot from USB drive, it opens Grub 2. When I type boot, it gives an error. You need to load the kernel first. Well, that sounds hopeful.
It's just do the instructions with the green check mark beside them, because that means that people have said that it has worked.
Oh, got it. All right. So from Grub Rescue, type set, then hit the tab. It will help you set the first parameters. Type set, then hit tab. Oh, okay. I think that makes sense. From Grub Rescue. Okay. Okay, I got a text here from Aaron suggesting, is it Yana Ubuntu with a Y. You only have Yana Ubuntu, no U. Oh. Yana. Oh, okay, Ubuntu. All right. Yeah, you're saying I've got either a typo or something wrong with the instructions. That's worthy. Let's try that since we're still here. Up arrow twice gets me to this previous one. Back here, he's suggesting should there be a U right here before Ubuntu? Because see that says Yana Ubuntu. It doesn't say Yana Ubuntu.
Yes, there should be a U there.
There should be a U. All right, we'll try that. Did I seriously do double check my spelling a few times and miss that? Or was it
Possibly.
was there a typo? Somebody wants here. Yeah. Yanu. Oh, Yan Ubuntu. See here it's Yan Ubuntu. That's still different. That's different yet. Yana. That A doesn't belong there. I did a instead of a U.
Hmm?
And double check.
Yeah, they're so close together on the keyboard.
Yeah, the A and the U. Well, they both type from the leftmost finger of that hand. Pinker finger for the A and pointer finger for the right hand. They're both the leftmost finger. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. Now, that didn't work, but let's go back and do the rest of the way they said to do it, which was with the hyphen.
They're both on the keyboard. How's that?
Yeah, that's right. Still not working.
If you're using the apt-get, you need the hyphen. But if you're just using just apt without the -get, you don't need. But I know that's confusing.
Yeah, well, the instructions for that said to use the -get. So I think it's more likely that we're at a grub prompt, and that sudo command I'm suspecting wasn't supposed to be run at a grub prompt. So now getting back to the green check mark instructions.
And also, when you go back to there on the command prompt, can you type in clear so
Sure.
So it's easier to see so we can.
Sure. All right. So I'm going to keep these instructions up on the screen to my right, but as I'm typing them, you're not going to see that screen because I have to put this screen in front of me. So clear. Worked. And then they say type set, then hit the tab key, not enter, not space, tab, possible commands. Oh, okay. Set params.
Like a help feature.
Okay, so what we're doing is set prefix =, paren hd 0, comma GPT2. So GPT would be the GUI partition table. So that 2, I'm thinking, is referencing the second GUI partition table on hard drive 0. So I'm sure we're hard drive 0. I don't personally know that it is the second GPT table that we should be booting, but let's see what we get. /grub. So now this is setting parameters, apparently for something we're about to do. Whoops, spelled wrong. My spelling checkers in the Zoom are not watching me close enough.
Well, there's a little bit of a delay on your capture card feed from that computer.
Well, it's a little bit of delay through YouTube. It's not the capture card, but it's through YouTube. I think it's usually about 5 seconds.
But it seems like it's more of a delay, the capture card, than it is through your normal computer.
Oh, really? Well, I'm not seeing any delay. But that reminds me, I guess somebody checked. Yeah, DVR is running. You know what? That's 2 streams in a row that I did not actually turn on DVR. It was automatically on. Which a long time ago I set that as a default, but it never seemed to respect that default. Okay, so anyway, here we go. Hitting enter key. So I'm going to say that worked because there was no error message. Now we'll do another set command, root =paren HD0.
Typically when you're configuring stuff on the command line, like with Cisco routers and switches and things, and with Linux, you don't, if you don't see any output at all, any message at all, that's good.
Yeah, I believe that to be the case. And then ins mod normal. Okay, now before I do normal, I'm going to go catch up with chat. All right, so I already brought
Welcome
that
back,
one
Jeff.
up. Oh, who's that? Jeff came back, and Jimi Hendrix is here. Awesome. Yeah, I heard a chuckle. Let's see, just like Windows asks the installation media to repair non-booting OS, this might be like that, just with a terminal instead of a nice blue user interface. Okay, makes sense. Aaron says, is it, oh yeah, I already saw that. Everything after ampersands are comments. Oh, were there ampersands and all that? Grub seems to work. We accessed it, right? Blackwatch, could the actual file system be corrupted? I don't think that that's going to be it, because when I did a straight normal imaging and then restoring of the image, I got exactly the same results as when I did the forensic. So that's 2 times in a row, and also I have restored the image to 2 different computers and got exactly the same results. And I also did verify when I was creating the images. So I don't, file system, I think it's more likely that it's having trouble with a different computer. Now, okay, so one thing along those lines is I could take the drive out of the computer that's not working, put it in the computer that is working, and if that restored image works there, then that says restore was fine. The trouble that it's having is that it's on a different computer, and that there's something specific about the computer that's tied into the Chrome operating system portion of this.
Doug,
Yes, Sivi.
I tried it too, but it's not working.
I know that you had tried. What is what is it that you tried? What I'm working on now?
Yes, I clone the hard disk to another hard disk and put it in the same computer. It didn't work.
Oh, okay. So when you cloned to a drive for another computer, you put that drive in the original computer and it did not boot. Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you. That shortcuts us doing that. Vladimir, try typing Linux and hit enter, and the grub terminal loads the kernel, insmod, yada yada yada, reading from grub2 terminal commands table. Okay, we'll turn to that after this next step if we don't get something out of this. So, bringing the subject computer back up, going back to the instructions. The next item on those instructions was normal. Looking like this is supposed to do something. All right. That wasn't very exciting anyway, but that is the steps that worked for somebody else. You need to load kernel first. To load the kernel forward with the following commands. to load the kernel forward with the following commands. I'm thinking kernel forward has a specific significance to those two words being used together. It's not obvious to me. Then there's a boot. So there's that green check mark here. And Alex, was it your intention that we only need to do these 4, or do you think we need to do these 4 too?
I thought that the first part was only giving you like the parameters, like showing you how to type it or whatever, and then the second part where it says boot is the actual commands, or you may need to type all of them. I'm not real sure.
All right. Well, then let me look closer at this. Let's get this thing out of the way. I'm so reluctant to do all cookies on these tech sites because they so often have a bunch of extra clutter. Strictly necessary. Okay, only strictly necessary. Confirm my choices.
Can I ask you an unrelated question?
Okay.
So I come across this the other day that Google is apparently going to force two-step authentication for everybody's accounts. So what if say my mom and dad, who I know don't have two-step verification on their accounts, or any of the other thousands of people that don't have two-step verification turned on, which means they don't have a recovery email set, or they don't have a recovery phone set to be able to get the text or whatever, or they don't even have a smartphone.
Yeah.
So will they be locked at? So is Google saying that they'll automatically lock people out of their accounts?
No, it will not. It will not automatically lock. What the documentation, Google's announcement was about that is that there are some functions in the YouTube Creator Studio that you won't be able to access if you don't have two-step authentication turned on. When the announcement came out, the announcement implied that only content creators that have monetized accounts were going to be required to do that, but everybody seemed to be getting the message, the warning.
Because I was looking at sites that they said Google to turn on two-step verification for like 50 million users or some crazy amount like that. So I assumed that meant they were going to turn that on for everybody.
No.
And then that it was going to lock people out of their accounts.
No, my understanding is it's not for everybody. And even for a content creator that has a monetized account, if they don't turn on the two-step authentication, all that means is they're not going to be able to get in to certain areas of the YouTube studio. And I think they also said their account's no longer going to be monetized, or they're no longer going to be earning money for their YouTube videos. But the indications that I've had from people is that normal users of YouTube that have normal YouTube accounts that never post a video, they are getting this message about requiring two-step authentication. The way the policy reads, you don't have to do it. If you don't do it, you'll still be able to watch videos. Your YouTube account's still going to work just the same as far as from a viewer's point of view. So,
I'm not specifically talking about YouTube. I'm talking about people. I thought people were talking like they're not going to be able to access their Gmail or anything else. They're not going to be able to access their accounts at all, their Google accounts at all, without the two-step verification. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I haven't seen anything.
No, I think it was strictly
official that
YouTube.
says that. Well, yeah, but two-factor authentication is a Google. Your YouTube account is a Google account. You don't have a YouTube account. You don't have a YouTube password. Your Google account is your YouTube account. So if you have Gmail, and if you go through the steps for turning on two-step authentication, because YouTube is requiring it, well, that two-step authentication is going to be functional for your email account too, if you have a Gmail account or an account hosted by Gmail. my accounts, my DougBetts at Live Windows Training, it is hosted by Google, by Gmail, even though it's not an @gmail.com address.
Our school email accounts were for the students. The faculty was on Outlook and the students are on Google. And even though I'm out of college and have been out of college for several months now, I still have access to my student email and can still send and receive emails on.
Okay. So did that answer your question, Alex?
I just want to try to avoid, I don't want my mom and dad to say, come Tuesday or whenever Google said they was going to turn that on automatically.
No.
I don't want them to come to me and say, I can't access my, I can't access my phone because my Tuesday verification wasn't on, or Google is trying to force me to do this, and why do you have to do?
Okay, understood. So my answer to you, my response to you is no, it's not gonna block them out of their account. And I'm qualifying that as saying
Doug?
that's according to the documentation. If Google doesn't abide by the documentation, if they sent out this warning to everybody when they said they weren't going to. So they said they're going to do it a certain way. They're going to implement this new policy in a certain way, and they immediately did that wrong. So are they going to lock people out of their Gmail accounts? Well, they said that's not what they're going to do, but are they going to do that accurately? Ken, you were trying to jump in?
Yeah, I wanted, if I can, I'd like to let Alex know something.
All right.
Carrie posted a link today on Facebook for two-factor authentication of how right now people are being scammed into giving up their codes. I would recommend he goes and watches that. That might help him to help his parents out.
And that could be a source of if they're getting a message saying they're going to get locked out of Gmail unless they click on this link to implement two-step authentication, that could be, a scam.
They're not getting anything right now. But what I'm saying is, come November 9th, when Google said they were going to turn it on, I wanted to try to avoid any potential then telling me.
Okay, you've said that a few times. I'm going to cut you off there because you said that a few times. We get the idea. So let me just go over here.
Doug,
Yes.
can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Two-step verification in Google, it doesn't affect the Outlook.
Well, is that a question or is that a statement?
Yes, if I using Outlook, Microsoft Outlook,
Yeah.
and with a Gmail account, okay.
Yeah.
If I using two-step verification, it doesn't work.
Okay, you're telling me that if you use two-step authentication with your Outlook using a Gmail account, it doesn't work?
Yes.
That's a very confusing statement.
Because when you're using a Gmail account in Microsoft Outlook, you have to put a Gmail in less security.
True. And when you go to your when you launch Outlook, it will typically, even if two-step verification is turned on, Outlook won't ask you for that authentication. Once you configure Outlook, it'll just work without having to do that two-step every time you sign into it. Now, I don't know if that's what you mean by it don't work.
When my client changes the to two-step verification,
yeah,
it doesn't work. He asks for a password.
It asks for a password. Well, yeah, of course it's going to do a password. That's
no,
part of two-step.
It was working before the turn on the two-step verification, And then after that, it doesn't work. He asks for password and error.
He gets an error when he
Sending-
enters his password.
Yeah.
No,
It's
in a loop.
It's in a loop. Okay, he puts in a password and it doesn't accept it, so it asks for the password again.
No, because okay, I in another time I will say.
Okay, another time. And this is Alex. This is you're taking me off too far here. You asked an unrelated question. This is taking us too far down the road. I have responded to you with my response to your question. According to their announcement, according to the policy, it will not affect a Gmail account. Okay? Understood?
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right.
Sometimes I overcomplicate things.
Okay. Then let's get back on track here. Where were we going? And I was about to go do a Google search for it, but you know how to do Google searches. Just search for Google two-step verification. Go find the policy and read it yourself if you're still not feeling confident about it. All right, so then what else we got here? I need to get caught up with. Is this one computer you're having problems with? The other computer's Chrome boots. The Chrome will boot on any computer that I do the full installation on. The problem I'm having is when I create an image from one computer and restore it to another computer. I want for it to work because I don't want to have to go through the full install for each computer. I want to be able to install one computer, install a bunch of games on it, and then image it to the other computers. Do both. The second one should loan the kernel. Okay, so that means both of those four-step things. What kind of cookies? Here is a paid way to install Chrome OS on a PC. I don't mind paying for it. Let's see what that is. I'm going to look at that more later. Google will officially support installing Chrome OS on your old computer. Oh, that's very attractive to me. I'll read that later. Two-step is a good thing, but it can be annoying. Yes. Carrie posted a link to 2FA. It was good. I forced clients to use 2FA on all as much accounts as 2FA supports, as I want my clients to be secure and custom domain. That was probably correcting a spelling. POP3 will work. I do use Gmail and Outlook, and 2FA works with it 100%. I have 2FA enabled, and I use Outlook 365 on laptop. I have had times when Outlook fails to accept a password, and the solution to that is to go to the web interface for that email account and go through a two-step authentication there. See, sometimes there have been some other, they want you to go verify your security settings or something like that. And then after that, Outlook will work with the existing password. So that's been my response in regards to when Outlook doesn't work with an email account, is go to the web interface for that email account. I've had that on lots of different types of email accounts. Looking for orange, no more orange. And I'll highlight the one that I left off on and then get back to that next set of instructions here. These 4 lines, bringing back that computer. Yep, I'm on the right keyboard. INS mod Linux.
Hey, Doug?
Yes.
Right now, the computer that you have it on works fine, correct?
I have 2 computers sitting by my side here. One of them, yes, it works correct.
I'm sitting here thinking, try taking the hard drive out and putting it in the other one.
Well, that's what I proposed earlier, and Zavi Manor told me that he has tried exactly that, and it did not
I
solve
would try
this
it with
issue.
just. I'm sorry. I would try it with just the original hard drive. Don't try to make a clone of it. Don't do anything.
Okay, good point. I'm not sure that. Yeah, I think what Javi said is that he cloned it to a different drive and then took that drive and put it into the original computer and it didn't work. So what you're saying is take the hard drive that is working, install it into the other computer and see if it'll work. Yes, I'm on board with that as one of the options I may wind up pursuing. All right, so enter on this command.
Doug,
Yes.
Doug, so what? If you change the hard drive to another computer, you are not cloning the disk.
Well, that's true.
The purpose of this session is to clone one drive to another drive that two computers will work.
Yeah, agreed. This would only be a troubleshooting step. Because if I can take the hard drive that's functioning in this computer and put it in this computer and it does function, then that tells me that the operating system is not somehow specifically restricted to a particular computer. That's all it is. It's just a piece of information towards trying to find the right solution. It is not a solution in itself. So I agree with you on that perspective. Okay, so here, Linux space /VM linuz. Did everybody catch that? VM linuz, not an X. Root =/
Are you
/dev.
gonna leave the Z on there?
Pardon? Say again,
Are you
Ken?
leaving the Z on Linux?
Yeah, that's the way the instructions read.
Wow.
So until it doesn't work, if it doesn't work, then I'll try that. Let me jump over here and show that to you. That's right here, this VM linuz
Sure is.
feels like a typo, but if it is a typo, if it is wrong, I should get some kind of an error message here.
Did any one of the clones work?
Pardon?
Did any one of the clone drives work on a machine?
No.
Does Macrame reflect or any of these carry disk signatures?
Does Macrame reflect carry disk signatures? I'm going to have to say I don't know that for sure, but Macrame Reflect has a lot of advanced options that can be selected or unselected.
Now, I asked this thing of carry. I don't know what happened with the Acronis in 2020, other than they really messed it up. But at one time, restore anything like this, the box was unchecked and it said copy disk signature. I'm wondering if Chrome honors that in the boot file or wherever it might put it.
Okay. Well,
There's a disk signature. You with Windows, what would happen? I think I told you before. The mounted devices in the registry.
Yeah.
It would contain duplicate binary values for two disks, and you can't have that.
All right. Well, I do know that I can create an image with Macrame Reflect and restore it to another computer and get the computer to boot.
Yeah, but it's not exactly the same. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Well, I think so, but I don't know enough of the technical details of how this operates to know. I think what you're saying sounds like a worthy question to pursue if nothing else works.
Like I don't know Linux. Other than booting Acronis, from USB or wherever.
Right.
But as far as I used Acronis to bring an image over to a new drive and reuse the other one. And Kerry says no. He says the same. He wasn't aware of it, but there is a checkbox to copy disk signature.
Okay.
And that'd be the binary value. If Macrame Reflect works more or less the same way, and Chrome or Linux or something is carrying the same value, then it's going to look for, theoretically, a binary value of the disk that you cloned.
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing, I don't know what I can do with that other than keep it on my radar as something to look for.
Like I don't know the Linux command to get into to the boot file to alter it, but if that value is in there, if it's there, and it's honored, it won't work.
Okay, well that's not something I'm gonna.
There's
I
a
want
good
to
comment you might check out in comments.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to that. I want to pursue this path that we're on now before I jump to something else. So that's going to have to be down the road, maybe.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Let's see. So next was, I always use IMAP. That's back on the mail issue. Chris, have you tried cloning again? Maybe use the clean command and try the clone again. Well, I have done it a few times. I haven't used the clean command between them. I've deleted all the existing partitions within Macrame Reflect, but not the clean command. So that could also still be on radar.
Can you tell me, just I loaded this in Legacy. Maybe I shouldn't have. Can you tell me what partition out of the 3 or 4 that the boot record resides in when you're in UEFI?
Can I tell you what partition the boot record lies in?
Yeah, when you load Legacy, there's the MBR. That's where it is. Well, if you load in UEFI, whatever, the usual way that it's done, where does that record lie?
That's above my pay grade. I don't know.
If you're talking about Windows, in the computer management under disk management, you'll have like 4 partitions, and one of the partitions will be the EFI file system, which is where the bootloader is.
Well, if that's correct, then now you know that's where it goes.
Okay, that doesn't change what I'm trying to do now. I want to get back on track. Okay.
Okay.
That's another. What is it? The bunny, rabbit? No. Squirrel. Squirrel. Come on, stop giving me squirrels.
Squirrel. Gee.
I need to go forward. Bunny forward.
Rabbit.
I'm gonna take forever.
Bunny rabbits.
Okay. So chat. Have you tried cloning again? No. Back in the earlier versions of Acronis, I had issues cloning Windows 7 before it messed up the BCD somehow. Okay. I know you're using Macrame Reflect. My speculation is that the 2 computers have different drive arrangement, so Linux is getting confused which drive is the bootable one. No, they both only have 1 drive. I don't see that being likely. Are they plugged into identical SATA ports? Yes, because these are the same model computer, and there's only 1 drive location in them. Let's see. Well, that's everything in chat. All right, so let's get to the rest of these commands that's taken forever to get to. The last one that I typed here was this one ending with SDA2. Press the enter key, and disk HT0 GP2 not found. Okay, so that happened from those set commands. So that HD0 GP2 somehow is not the right target. There's a surprising number of partitions that came by virtue of doing these installation instructions. And that GPT-2 might need to be GPT-1 or GPT-3 for all I know. This is indicating to me that a command that we just tried to run called Linux /VM linus, which apparently was accurate spelling, root equals dev /sda2. That somehow was causing it to look to this HD0GPT2 that we did up here, and it was not found. So I'm kind of tempted to try different GPT-2 numbers and see if we can get that command to work. But let's go look at this first. Change. We're told to change the dev SDA2 with your root partition. Change GPT-2, I'd be referring to this up here, with MS-DOS. If you don't have a GUI, a GUID partition table, okay.
Those machines are in legacy, right?
I want to. They have legacy enabled, so they can boot either UEFI or legacy.
If those machines are in legacy mode in the BIOS in the EFI, then the Linux system there would be probably looking for the MS-DOS, because that's what Linux refers to as legacy, I believe.
Okay, let me understand this. Change dev SDA2 with your root partition.
Doug, see what Vladimir say in the chat.
In chat?
Yes.
All right. Try Linux, VML, Linus, root. Oh, he's using the Linus, so yes, that Z is valid. And change HD0 to HD1, etc. Yeah, so that's kind of the direction I was going, was trying different numerical values in this area. Let's do that.
Doug, are they the same hard drives?
Pardon?
Are they the same hard drives?
No. You're asking, are they the same model hard drive?
Same size?
The target drive is smaller than the source drive. Okay. So the partitions all came out the same. I did look at those sizes. So I want to comprehend this. Try Linux /VM. VM, is that virtual machine? Linus, root, HD0RO. Oh, read only? Okay. Yeah. Now I stopped at this step here because we got an error. So I think it's not a good idea to go on to these two steps until I get this one to function right. So let's go do that. Linux space /VM Linus root =paren HD0,5 paren space RO. Double checking. Enter. Error disk not found. So then change HD0 to 1, etc. Okay. So change from 0 to 1. So this is changing, that should be a designation for a different hard drive. I want to see a way to get a different partition, a different GUI partition table, because this looks like it's looking for different hard drives to me. That HD0, 5, is that 5 referring to a partition number?
I believe so.
Well, then
But
that's
since you
what we
said-
should be changing, not the HD0.
But since you said the BIOS was in legacy mode, I think you should also need to try taking out the GPT and putting in MS-DOS, because that refers to legacy.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and cycle through these numbers. I don't know what this command is supposed to respond with when we're successful.
Are both the BIOS settings identical?
Well, I can't say that I've gone through every setting item by item, but from my...
I mean, the easiest would be to load optimized defaults.
True, and then turn off secure boot if optimized defaults enables that. Now I can bring up the BIOS settings on the capture card, so we may wind up doing that.
The only thing should be secure boot or something like that, because it sounds like from what you said, legacy and UEFI are supported on the installation.
Yeah.
Then it logically it's got to be the BIOS setting. That, you know, that's what it sounds like. It sounds something's different in the BIOS.
Well, it's a possibility. I don't think that it's a given, because it is finding the bootloader. Well, what I'm calling the bootloader, it's the boot is happening partially. We've got Linux is booted. Linux is booted.
But it's dropping a kernel. It's dropping a kernel, right?
Yeah, for all whatever that means.
But that could be driven by the BIOS settings.
All right.
Load inability to load the kernel.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that we have immediately in front of us with this grub command that I haven't tried yet that we wanted to try? It seems like there's one other thing that we should do before we move on. Now this Linux command right now that we're doing, I think it is respecting this parameter that is set, this parameter variable that's been set for GPT-2. Do we know for sure that the number after the comma is referencing the numerical partition? Or is that just a guess? Let's see, Ida says change all GPT-2 references and the parameters to MS-DOS instead. Okay, that is one thing you guys said to do. Alex, did that come from you originally?
Yes,
All
that's
right.
what I had.
Okay, don't expect me to remember everything that just come out of any of your mouths. If there's something that I want to come back to, you may have to remind me. So let's see, this command that all GPT-2 references. So should we go back up to that set root command? Set root equals sign paren HD0 comma, instead of GPT-2 use MS-DOS.
Can't see it. Can you clear the screen?
Yeah. Oh, now I can't see the old command. I'll have to bring that up on my other screen over here. All right, so set root equals sign paren HD0, comma. Now instead of GPT-2, what you're saying is use MS-DOS paren. Is that what you're asking for, Alex?
Yes.
All right. Enter. So it accepted that. Now, can we go straight to that Linux VM Linux command? Or do we have to do the other intermediate commands first? Here's what I'm talking about. So I just changed this item here. Oh, but I didn't change this one. I probably should do. Well, let's just go through all of them from the beginning with MS-DOS instead of GPT-2. Do you agree, Alex?
Yes. I've never actually had to do this before, so I'm just.
Yeah.
I think that's what you want, but I'm not 100%.
All right. So I'm going along each of those. Set. Oh, you know what? I should be able to do up arrows, right? To find it.
Correct.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of things that I did.
And I think when you're cloning Linux, instead of using Macrame Reflect, even though I know you know it, is try to use like Clonezilla. It's a command line based cloning thing.
Actually, my next alternative for cloning is what Javi Manor used, because he was successful with it. So all of this effort here is an alternative to using the cloning software that Javi was successful with. So if we're not successful with this, the next cloning software I'll be using is the one that he's found success with.
Can you remind me? Did you remind me what did Javi use?
Yeah, sure. I'll bring it up back on the screen again. It was it's on one of these tabs. Where was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, OSF clone. I'm reading that as operating system forensic clone. In fact, right here they say OS forensics. So when I first started looking into this, I said, okay, well, Macrame has a forensic clone capability, so I tried that with Macrame Reflect, and it did not solve the problem.
Can Javi expand on that, the difference? What's the difference in what he used in the...
You mean you're asking him what is the technical difference between this software and Macrame Reflect?
Not... Did he just go out and get this thing? Just, hey, I'm going to try it. You know?
All right. Well,
I tried, and it's all.
He tried it and it worked.
So simple.
He did go looking for some alternative cloning software. He found this one, tried it, and it worked.
So he just basically lucked out. I understand. I'm not
Yeah.
coming on. I'm not ragging on him. I'm just wondering. He just looked at different alternatives and said, "I'll give each one a try and see what works. If it does."
Sounds like it.
Okay. All right.
This is part of Clonezilla anyway, so it should work. It's using the Linux command DD, which is just no. This looks good, Doug.
Okay. You're
I would use it.
the OSF clone, you're saying?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm very attracted to it right now.
Yep. Looks good. For what it's worth.
But I'm just wondering what I'd be interested in knowing the difference.
Yeah, I think that I don't think we can answer that.
No, I know, and just a thought,
Okay.
because they're all basically the same.
Javi, what are you trying to...
Blackwatch, I tried Acronis sector by sector, didn't work. This application is working sector by sector, bit by bit, and it's work.
Okay. Let's go back here and finish out this command. We're changing all the references to GPT-2 to MS-DOS. So here is the first of those 8 commands, and then set root =paren hd0 comma GPT, MS-DOS paren. Double checking for spelling and syntax. Yes. INS mod normal, and then normal, and then INS mod Linux. That's interesting. So up here it looks like we changed INS mod to normal and then are changing it now to Linux. Whatever INS mod means. And then next one is Linux /VM linus root =dev /SDA2. And I did do MS-DOS every place that I should have, right? Okay. Error HD0 MS-DOS not found. So here we're getting a similar error message as when we were following the instructions. MS-DOS. So MS-DOS as an alternative to GPT-2. GPT-2 is GUI partition table number 2. MS-DOS, I suppose, is selecting a partition that's identified by MS-DOS rather than as a GPT number. All right. Was there anything else that we're wanting to try from this prompt? From this grub prompt?
I don't think so.
Yes.
What is the capability of the hard disk? How is the volume you are using?
Ask that again, please.
What is the capability of the hard drive?
What is the capability of the hard drive?
No, it's the volume.
Capacity.
How many giga in the hard disk?
I want to say, I think the source was 512 gigabyte solid state drive, Samsung, and the target, I believe, is a 1 terabyte spinning drive.
Okay, because I used the original disk was this SSD. It's 120 giga, and I clone it to 160 hard drive.
And that was your successful?
Yes, but it took more than 1 hour.
Oh, I'm sure, because it's doing a forensic sector by sector. So yeah, I'm sure it would take a long time. And mine took a long time.
Yeah.
Somebody just said something I didn't catch.
Yeah, I said it's probably byte by byte. It's forensic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, there's something else going on here in chat. Let's see.
I know you did it all. What's the possibility of doing an image and then restoring the partitions one at a time?
There's like 8 partitions.
Yeah, but they're small.
Well, not if you're doing forensic.
Mm,
To
Yeah.
what? So you're saying restore the partitions one at a time. I'm more inclined to use the software that Javi was successful with. He didn't have to do that.
I don't. Will that? I don't know what he will that resize the partition?
I don't see any need to resize the partitions. When I did it, the partitions came out the same size, same space in use, and same size for each partition.
Well, there seems to be a little bit of confusion as to somebody asked you about it. It seems this command you're trying to do is kind of alter the guide table. That doesn't sound good. Like the guide table is already set up. You're trying to alter it.
No, I don't think that was altering anything. I think that was just giving set commands for the Linux commands that we're going to do. I don't think it actually modified anything about the drives.
This whole thing, to me, my opinion, this whole thing comes from the restoration of that image. That the cloning or whatever, something's gone wrong.
Well, okay.
Not gone wrong with the restoration. Between that and the Linux system, the boot and everything, something, just.
Do you have an end result target that you're? See, Zavi got the same exact problem I had. He found a cloning office software that worked, and he was successful. So, what?
Well, what is forensic? What does that mean?
Forensic. That means it copies every byte that's on the drive, even deleted file areas, erased files, empty hard drive space, and
it's like a Cronus sector by sector instead of just go at it.
Yeah. Well, the default way to clone a drive is that it's only going to clone the files that exist, the actual data that is.
No, I know what it's. If I'm experienced with the Cronus, is turning on sector by sector, which is going to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I did try. Cronus.
That sounds like
sector.
That sounds like your answer, Doug. That the normal copy, restoring image, cloning, whatever, it has to be done sector by sector.
Yes, but I did forensic copy. I mean, I did sector by sector with Macrame Reflect. That did not solve it, but the software that Javi used that apparently does the same thing was successful.
I missed that. I missed you saying you had brought it back sector by sector.
Oh yeah, I did. I used the term forensic. I didn't use the term sector by sector. They're the same thing.
I've never. Well, forensic has a different meaning to me.
Okay.
Than sector by sector.
Okay. Well, getting to this next comment, I think MS-DOS should have a number after it to indicate the partition number from a quick look in the grub2 manual. Okay. So that is something else.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Why don't you? I have one of those USB hard drive dock things that you can press a button and it will clone from the source drive to the target drive with no software.
Yeah.
Why not just put the source drive from the computer that's working the way you want it to work in as a source? Take this hard drive out, let it wipe the hard drive we're working on, put it as a target, and let it do a hardware copy without having to use any software or anything.
I think that has a high probability of working, but it's an unacceptable solution because I would not be able to use that on these computers moving forward. That would mean opening the computers up, which these computers are difficult to open up, removing the hard drive and putting them into those anytime that I want to refresh an image once these computers get messed up at the client's location, which they will. And If I don't get a software solution, then I'm not interested.
That's what I was trying to avoid when we were doing this kind of stuff at college, because at college the IT department has those same docks like the one that I have, and all they would do is take the hard drive out, and I was trying to figure out a software issue.
That's a really convenient way to do it in your environment, not in the environment I'm going to be using.
You know what this reminds me of very, very strongly?
What?
You know what this reminds me of very, very strongly?
I said what?
Oh, well, no, what? What? Have you ever wondered, Doug? No. Matthew Barnes, what did we spend 2.5 hours dissecting the entire internet system for it instead of going to a drive? You got to know, you got a copy program that works. Pardon me, but why are you screwing around with all of this?
Okay, good point. And I think I'm going to take you up on that and end the stream pretty soon.
No, we could sit and play. This is fun. We just don't have to think.
Let's see. Here I'm trying to catch up.
You don't need to take it out of the computer. Just use the adapter.
Say again, Darren?
You don't need to take your hard drive out of the computer. Just use the adapter, like a
Adapter.
USB. Yeah.
I'd still have to open the computer up. These all-in-ones
No,
are
you
difficult.
just toss it to a new hard drive. You use your USB and
Is
then
he
toss
saying-
it to your other hard drive.
Is he saying connect it with a USB enclosure and boot from it?
Something like that. Yeah.
No, not acceptable.
Not
No,
acceptable.
The drives will walk away. This is not a secure environment.
No, what he's for testing. I think that's where he's coming from.
You can try it and
Instead of you pulling things apart, going back and forth, if you put it into a closure, boot the machine from the USB and test it. Instead of, you know what he's saying?
Well, yeah, but I don't quite consider that a valid test, because is it going to boot the same internally as it would through USB? You're saying to use the USB as a troubleshooting step.
Yep.
I'm just trying to interpret what Darren's saying. That's all I'm doing.
Okay. I think we got some good stuff going in here in chat. Let me move on. Note that when you were trying GPT, it was GPT-2 indicating GPT partition 2. What? I think MS-DOS should have a number after it. Yeah, the GPTs had a number after it when Alex steered us towards MS-DOS, and I think it was IDA. Neither one of them were saying that we need a number after MS-DOS. I think there can be multiple GPT partitions, but I don't think there can be multiple MS-DOS partitions. I don't know. Can you list this? This one's really good. This looks interesting to me. Can you list the disks? Alex?
You can have 4 primary partitions in an MS-DOS, and like 4 logical, I believe.
Okay, but when you told me to use MS-DOS instead of GPT followed by a number, you were not saying that I need a number after MS-DOS, do I?
I think you do need a number after MS-DOS. Just change the GPT to MS-DOS.
Okay. Well, this list disk that Wintermute is asking for should help us figure out what numbers to use. I'm hoping that is a grub command.
Well, if you have Windows 10, you have two primary MBRs right now, and you have 2 NTFSs.
Okay, yeah, but I don't. This isn't Windows 10.
No, but I mean answering that question for
You're
Alex.
answering the question about MS-DOS. Okay, I accept that. So Wintermute, I don't know if those are capital I's or lowercase L's. I'm going to assume all commands are lowercase. So that would be ls space -l / I think there's a space there, /dev / disk / by -id. So here's again what he's got in chat. can you list the disks? And that's the command he's showing. So let's try enter and see if that works. No. Disk HD0 MS-DOS not found. That sounds like it's got something to do with that set command we have has somehow interfered. Somebody's trying to get my attention?
Yes. I put the hard disk with the Chrome OS in my computer, and I think that there are 14 partitions.
14
not
partitions.
Wow. Yes. And the partition of the EFI is partition number, just a moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay, so you did the Chrome OS the same way I did, following the same instructions I did, and you're looking at that now to see how many partitions there are. So now if you're coming up with the partition finding the partition number that we need to repair, that really sounds like a useful thing.
I think that it's called EFI-system, and it's partition number 11.
So you think we should be doing partition GPT 11?
I think so.
It sounds believable.
That's what you're saying, Ziv. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. You're saying go after partition 11.
Yeah, I wasn't doing numbers anywhere near that high. So that sounds like a good thing to do. Now, this part about listing the disks, that would be good for us to see what you're describing as far as disk numbers. Why use a USB 3.1 to 2.0 hard drive adapter? I'm not going to go down that road. I found that in the Grub 2 manual. That was for the stuff about a GPT number. Wintermute confirms lowercase. Ida, get out of that screen and enter again to do the last command with nothing said. That sounds good. That sounds good. Drives and partitions explained in Q&A. That sounds good. Let me get that pulled up on a tab.
Is there any specific reason for anything that people that are using these computers for specifically ask for Chrome OS, or did you just put it on there because you thought it looked good?
I wanted a way for these computers to not have all of the Windows clutter and overhead. All they need is to be able to do games. They're not going to care or know how I set it up.
Well, they can do games if you just do like a normal Linux Mint or Ubuntu install, and you don't have to worry about this whole Chrome OS mess. You can just clone or image, set up a regular Ubuntu install, and then clone or image it, and not have to worry about all this we're going through.
Okay, so one of the reasons why I gravitated towards Chrome OS is for the Google Play Store. So for a Linux installation, what games, what marketplace, what store of games? These got to be low-end games like table games, board games, chess, checkers, pinball machines, poker. Not.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You can. Every Linux distribution out there, like Ubuntu and Linux Mint, they all have an app store just like the Google Play Store that you can go in and it's got a category for games, and you can download pretty much any game you want, like solitaire and all of that.
Well, that sounds very attractive because I don't need it to be the Google Play Store.
Can you just go back for a minute? I know you're frustrated. I would be too. They're probably on your back about this. This all goes back to, as I recall, there was something that happened with Microsoft thing, loading games, something. And it came up, there was There was Major Geeks where there's something that somebody said they got a whole boatload of games to load for you. Like,
yeah, Zavi did. Zavi came up with a link for I think it was Zavi,
yeah, I think
whole
it was.
package of games.
I guess my point is this, Doug. Uh, everybody seems lost with this. The old familiar thing is Windows. You know, my point is this: you get this thing done, then something goes wrong. Now you're going to have to become an MSP for Linux. Do you really want that?
Well, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't want that, and I wouldn't do that. And I didn't know that this was going to be as complicated as it's turning out to be. And I was hoping that today's session, somebody would come up with a simple fix for this. That hasn't happened.
No, but even if it was, Doug, even if you spent 3 hours and you got this thing to boot, down the road, you're going to be supporting Linux, Chrome, whatever. Do you really want to do that?
I wouldn't be doing that, and that is not the question. That is not the question that I feel is on target, because I'm not going to be doing that for other clients. All I'll do is restore the image.
Yeah, that was my next sentence. Or are you just going to do an image and continually?
No, I'll just keep restoring the image. If I can come up with a simple image, I'll just restore that image. I'm not going to become an expert in Linux.
We're on the same page. I just didn't get that out. You know that.
Okay.
You just keep restoring the image, but if something goes wrong with that master image, you're right back into it. You're going to keep that image and keep restoring it. Something goes wrong, God forbid, and I don't believe in God. What are you going to do?
All right, that's on me. I can grab an image from one of the other 5 computers. One of the other 4.
I'm not trying to bite at you. I'm not trying to become an ankle biter here, but I'm just, within the scope of feasibility, everybody can play this. Everybody can try to fix this and say you get it fixed. At the end of the day, you're the one. You got it. It's on you. Like, everybody in here has got to admit that.
Okay. You've made your point. Let me move on.
Okay.
I don't need that point being drilled in over and over and over. So let's move on. You made your point, and it's a good point. Let's move on. Did somebody else have something before I move on? Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to look for a link that Darren sent me, actually, it's a bunch of Windows 7 games that you can play on Windows 10. I don't know if it'd work on Windows 11 or not, but I can't find it right now.
We're not going to be interested in Windows 11, and I've already been down that road with these computers in these locations. I was looking for a different way to deal with it. And the other thing that Javi came up with about the a utility that prevents the users from making changes to the computer. Well, they can make changes, but then they'll automatically revert back to the way I originally set it up. And that piece of software worked. And I was going down that road, and then I got interested in seeing if I could make this work quick and easily. Zavi, you trying to say something?
Doug, I put a link with the image of the hard drive.
Let's have a look here. All right, so the last thing I looked at here was drives and partitions explained, and then here Zavi has, I upload a picture of the partitions of the disk with OS Chrome. So a picture. Oh, okay. Oh, I got it. I understand. And then auto script for each machine. Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to there. Demon Sweat. Is that an auto script to restore the computers to their normal mode every time that they get messed up, or is that to fix my current problem? I don't know where you're going with that. So let's go look at this picture. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right, comprehend this. GPT partitions, disk 3. I'm guessing it's not in the computer that's actually booting. He's probably got it attached.
I've showed in the YouTube.
Oh, I can't scroll. I'm trying to scroll on your picture.
Okay. You can scroll. It's all the partitions are on the disk.
Okay, it's disk number 3 because you have it attached to a computer, and they haven't actually numbered them here, so I don't know if the partition numbering schemes go 0, 1, 2, 3, or if it's, I think it starts with 1.
Disk 3.
We're on disk 3, so these are the partitions. There's 102 gigabyte. This is what you're referring to as partition 11, I think you said.
Yes. You can
1,
count.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, but those two unallocated wouldn't get a number, so that's 12. And there might be something else here that doesn't count as a partition. Okay. I think the easiest way for me to display the partitions is to boot Macrame Reflect on this computer, because it's going to show what partitions are here. Because I've got that real easily, and I can do that through my capture device. And the reason we were interested in that is to know what partition to use for those grub commands. But this, I really think the easier solution is using the imaging software that worked for Xavi. Because if I boot Macrame Reflect to look at partition numbers, the only thing that lets me do is to come back and try to use these grub commands. And if that works, then that chains me to doing that every time I restore an image, which is much more difficult than just using this other software that Xavi found. So let's go take a closer look at that. That software. Where was it? Here, OSF clone. Free self-booting solution enables you to create, clone, extract raw images quickly independent of the system. Creates forensic image. Create disks in a certain format. Verify disk clone is identical. Use OSF clone to save forensic metadata. Download. Click to download the zip. Installation instructions. CD DVD image writing software. USB flash drives. Download it. Reduce likelihood of mistakes. All right.
I mentioned in the mail that I use the ISO file version 1.2, and because I didn't success with 1.3.
Okay, this is 1.3 up here. It's 351 megabytes. Version 1.2.1 is what you use successfully. It's only 49.5 megabytes. Much smaller. Well, that's a zip file. This is an ISO. All right, let's download the ISO.
I feel kind of bad leaving that phrase out there, it's on you. Like, I don't mean it the way that sounds.
I understand your meeting.
It's you're supporting it,
Yeah, but I'm not going to be supporting it the way you are fearing. So
No, but I'm just saying, you can help figure this out, but at the end of the day to day, you're on call to them, nobody else is,
Yep. I'll make my decisions on that point.
No, I know you will.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that ISO software? Real popular one. I know I've got it in here somewhere.
Rufus.
Thank you.
Rufus.ie.
Oops. Oh, it's not there. I think I've got it down here. It's got to be in here somewhere. Rufus. Is it in here? No. All right. I'll go download it then.
Oh, you're looking. It's Rufus.ie and it's on version 17.
Rufus.ie?
Yep.
3.17 portable.
Still writes to the registry.
I missed that.
It still writes to the registry.
Oh, even when you use portable, it writes to the registry?
Yep.
All right, right click that, cut it from there, put it into my resources folder. New folder, Rufus. And right click paste. Double click.
Was you ever able to get that unattended XML file to work, Doug?
I haven't been back on that issue. I haven't tried that again. Do you want to allow Rufus to check your application for updates? No, because I just got the new one. And then select OSF clone. And oh, it's not giving me a device because I haven't plugged in a device in yet. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
I like the live videos, but I kind of think I like the recorded videos better because when you're watching a recorded video that was never live streamed, they can, Carrie and you can focus strictly on what you're doing at the specific time, not have to worry about what's going on in chat or what's going on in Zoom.
Yeah, well, I do recorded videos also that are not live stream, and those are a little tighter, and typically, I think of them as tutorial videos. So yeah, they have their place.
Yeah, you didn't do any this week, Doug.
No, I didn't. I've been busy with regular business, and in fact today, really I was missing doing a live stream, and I thought I could get help with this subject. And I have several recordable videos that I'd like to do, and I have some raw footage recorded that I'd like to edit, but I just haven't been able to take the time to do that. So here, am I got this on screen all right? Yeah, I guess I do. Let's put this picture down here and smaller. And let's see, am I gonna get these choices right? That's the image that I want. This is the drive. And since it's an ISO, it's gonna overwrite whatever's on it. and its partition scheme is
Just-
NPR.
Just click start.
Just click start. I don't need to look over any of this. All right. I
Yes.
like that. Warning all data. Yeah. And Vladimir says partition scheme MBR, it's not GPT. So that means that the ISO file is an MBR partition, I suppose. Oh, did that finish already? I guess.
Yes, a small one.
All right. Then let's go down here. Do not have permission to access this folder. It's probably a file format that Windows doesn't recognize.
Yes.
That sound likely? All right. Close that. Eject it. So put this in my source computer, which is.
So, do you have any experience with doing IT for law firms and stuff?
Yeah, I have several clients that are law firms.
Are they like hard to work with or anything?
Oh, they're human beings. So, which means if they're difficult people, then they're difficult to work with. If they're nice people, then they're easy to work with.
I'm only asking because I have a job interview Monday morning with a law firm.
Yeah, I think it's unrealistic to think that you can put them all in a box and say they're all one way or another. My law office clients are very easy, but they've been long-time clients. One of them in particular was difficult in the beginning until he left me a couple times and kept coming back to me because he found out that there's nobody out there that operates like a swap meet for computer support. Or if they do, they don't do a very good job. So he left me a couple times complaining about my rates, and then and he kept coming back, and now he never complains
Thanks, you're
about
charging
rates.
too much.
Say again?
So you're saying he thinks you're charging too much?
No,
Not enough.
no, he used to. Now he's very, very thrilled with having me, and he often expresses that he would be in dire straits if he lost me, and I've done nothing but increase my rates.
Alex, that job interview, is that to support them or to go to work for them?
That's to go to work for them, like work in their IT department.
Doug knows more about what he's doing, MSP. I worked, I think I told you, Doug, that is true. I worked part-time. It was a lawyer's downtown Toronto. They literally had 3 floors of them. I have never, that was one heck of a learning experience. Lawyers.
I think the experience working for a large law office in the IT department as an employee would be completely different environment than anything I do. And,
Oh Lord, is it, because
yeah.
they think like lawyers, and it's
I think
that was something else. That was.
I think the comments that Kerry Holzman has made about his experiences working for corporations is more likely going to be the type of experience that you would have with a law firm that has an IT department. You probably find a lot of politics and stresses and pressures to work more and better for less money?
Yeah, like, hey, you know, you're busy. I could give you a little story that's really funny. It's if it wasn't so real, it would be funny. They you don't know downtown Toronto, but there's McCall Street, which is, you know, a little street to the side, and there's Canadian CIBC Bank in there. And I went in with my paycheck and to go up to the teller. It's like 2 stories, you know what I mean? Big open. And I go in and she cashed it. I got about 20 feet away and she called me back in front of everybody. And she took the money back. So I went back and I happened to mention to whoever's above me that, you know, what happened. So they sent me to the vice president. So I'm standing there and you know, and he says, you know, what happened? And, you know, I told him. And he says, really? He gets on the phone. I said, I'll step outside. He says, no, you're going to stay here. He got a hold of the manager. Doug, that's where 3 floors of lawyers had all their money. He took a strip out of him. And I said, well, I'll go tomorrow. He said, no, you'll go down there now. So I go down there and there's this poor woman, red in the face with the manager behind her. Millions and millions of dollars would have come out of that branch. And she's apologizing and everything. Long story short, I looked at the manager and said, it's not your fault to the woman. It's his, you know? But it's a little, Alex, it's another world.
Okay.
But anyway, I'll let you go, Doug.
Thank you. I've got a point here. Javi?
Yes.
Which option do I need here?
What will be the target?
The target is connected, is an external
USB?
Yeah, externally connected USB drive.
Okay, first of all, you have to set number 1 to...
So number 1 is just telling it what I want to do.
Just a minute, clone complete. 1.
1, enter. Okay. Number of physical storage drives found, 3. The flash, okay, so
you have to choose the target, the source.
So the source will be 0. Yeah, that looks right. So I'll select 1, enter, 0, enter.
And select the destination.
Okay, 2, enter. And it's number 2, enter. And then change options, 3, current options, showing current selections, source, DVA, SDA, destination, DV, SDD, options, checksum method, MD5, post DD, verify DST, no, block size. Do I need to change any of those options?
No.
No? So ready to execute with that DD command?
Yes.
Oh, let's see, no. Do I type DD or just press 9 enter? Must be 9 enter.
9 enter.
9 enter. All right, the following DD command will be executed. All right, so.
In the bottom, you will see the cloning.
All right. Pressing Y, enter, and it's cloning.
Y or yes?
I just did the letter Y, enter.
And it clone? No.
Yeah, it's going. I did. The prompt on the screen says continue.
Okay.
Session.
Okay.
So So
I did it 3 years ago, so I don't remember.
okay.
Now you have also the time down.
The time showing Mel. It didn't offer me an opportunity to choose a folder on that drive.
No, it's cloning one by one.
This isn't creating a forensic image. This is cloning to a target drive. That's not going to work. I need to be able to create an image file. Because I can't, the only way I'm going to be able to connect a drive through USB is to remove it from the computer. This isn't creating a forensic file. And this is going to wipe out everything I have on that drive.
Number 2 was the image complete drive. I use clone. I didn't use the image. You can try it. Boot again and try the second option, image complete drive.
So before I stop, the top of this screen says clone complete drive. It's not creating an image file. Yeah.
You can stop it.
All right. Well, is there nothing on the screen telling me a graceful way to stop it?
No, just power off.
Control C stopped it. So I've got the menu system. Clone complete drive. We went into 1. Number 2 is for image complete drive. Format you wish to use.
Have I got this mic on or not? Oh yeah.
DD.
A lot of people are suggesting imaging. I kind of like imaging myself, but it's up to you.
My suggestion is just go download from an ISO from Ubuntu.com or LinuxMint.com. Download that. Make a fresh. Install that on a computer, and then then you should be able to use Macrame Reflect to make an image of that. And it'd be a whole lot easier than having to deal with all this promo with.
All right.
I mean, that's what you're going to do anywhere at the end, Doug, is to keep an image, or are you planning to support it by cloning all the time?
No, cloning is not going to work. I already said that. I can't take a hard drive out of these computers and have to clone it from another computer. I need an image file.
So what we're doing now, what you've been doing is cloning or imaging. I'm getting lost in all
Well,
of
this last command we did was a clone, and I didn't realize that. If I had realized that, I wouldn't have done that, because that just wiped out what else I had on that drive.
So is that the game plan now? Is the image?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, a few people are confused in chat. I think they're suggesting imaging, and I think that's what you're doing.
That's what I intended to do. They're suggesting imaging because that's the right thing to do, and they don't realize that's what I was intending to do and what I thought I was doing, and I missed that.
I think we're all on the same page now. We're going to do imaging. You're going to do imaging.
Yeah. Doggone, I wish I would have looked back at chat before I started that.
There's a lot more control with imaging, I think, is there not?
Yeah, I don't need you saying that over and over. We're on the same page.
No, it's the people in chat. I'm trying to get,
Can I move forward, please?
Okay. Image.
We're done with that. Point made. Okay, what I have on the screen here now for imaging format, DD is a common Unix program whose primary purpose is low-level copy and conversion of raw data. It can be used to copy regions, raw devices, files, backup, partition, hold drives. The size of the image file created before compression will be the same as the source. AFF is open extensible file format. Yada yada yada. Current AAF, EWF, expert witness compression format. Okay, so number one is to choose which of these formats I want to use. Got it. Zvi, do you know which of these would be consistent with what you did?
No, I didn't try anything but cloning.
Yeah, but do we know which of these methods the cloning used? EWF contains physical bit stream.
No, I use the default.
Yeah, I know, the default for cloning, which was probably one of these three. Can I get back to see what it was? Unknown format chosen. One. Oh, there it is. So clone complete drive, which here, if you need more advanced control of DD or AIM image, you can run DD or DC3DD or AI image. Image specified partition, write image to drive, compute checksum, additional drive details, select keyboard layout. Mouse isn't going to work.
Doug, I put a URL down about DD. You might want to take a quick look at.
Give me is it got something to do with what I'm trying to accomplish right now?
Yeah, but it talks about DD. It's pretty small.
It talks about those different options that I'm looking at?
Yep, on DD.
All right, DD, chem landline utility, backup partition. Yeah, well, the screen gave me the description of these three. What I was looking for is which of these three styles did Zvi use as the default setting, not realizing which of these three was being used.
The default setting is DD.
The default setting is DD? All right.
Yes.
Okay.
When you press 9, it's DD.
Let's go back to image complete drive. Okay, option number 1 says DD. Okay, got you. Thank you. So I'm not going to change any of those. So that is the default format. So I'm going to type, well, actually, no, this doesn't say that's the default. This gives me 3 choices. It doesn't have the word default anywhere. I have no way of knowing which of those is.
Yeah, you have to put in file and out file on all of them.
On all of them?
Yeah, the first one is entire hard disk. Second one is backup partition. Third is image of a hard disk.
I don't know where you're reading that.
Did you grab the one I put in?
Oh, you're referring to the link.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, yeah. Well, I became less interested in that when I realized all this is doing is telling me what those.
Oh yeah,
what those are. So it's saying what the DD is. Well, it only has DD.
Right. DD is a command to copy partitions, image clone. I mean, you can do all.
Yeah, but this isn't telling me the difference between DD, AFF, and EWF, and which of those is the default choice that Javi wound up using. Now, he's just said that DD is the default choice, but that's not obvious from this screen.
No, DD is just the command.
I
There's
understand that. I understand that. The alternative commands is AFF or EWF. Those are different styles of images.
Correct.
And I want to know which of those is the default that this software was using when Javi did his operation. So if I go back into clone complete drive, does it tell me there what method it is using? Checksum method MD5 post. Yeah, there it is on that second line. Whoops, I'm sorry, I don't have you on the screen. Right here, when I go back into this option, does any of these mouse works? No, none of those mouse works. So about halfway through that, kind of in the middle, it says post DD verify DST no. So maybe that's what you're referring to, Zavi, but I needed to see it for myself because I've already damaged myself by not checking this through well enough. Return to main menu. So it is DD. So number 2, enter. Number 1, enter. And then select source, 1, enter. And the source is 0, enter. Destination 2, enter to select the destination. Now, this is showing a whole bunch of partitions. I need to choose a different drive. SDD1 dev. This external drive is like a 2 gigabyte, I think. None of those are large enough to be this external. Please select a partition, enter Q to return to previous valid. Number of valid destination partitions on all drives, 10. I think these are all partitions that are on the internal solid state drive. Yeah, none of those are the external drive. Number of physical storage devices found at the top says 3. IDs 0, 1, and 2. The one I want is number 2. On this screen, I choose 2, enter to get to the destination. This doesn't give me any way of selecting that second drive. This is just showing partitions. Showing partitions that are on drive 0. Three, change options. Checksum DD, split file image, compress level. That doesn't give me any choice of selecting which drive ID I want. That second section in bold, number of valid destination partitions on all drives says 10. that's not enough. All right, we're getting close to 3 hours. I've gone far enough on this. So I've got a lot of ideas. I think a lot of alternative directions to go. And I think this session has been useful for that, but didn't give me what I was hoping for as a fairly easy way to fix that immediate error I was getting.
Doug, I will check it on my computer and I'll mail you
Okay.
how to do it.
Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and end this now then. So thank you again,
Bye-bye.
Tony Wallow, for the donation. And let's see, what do we got? Total 16 current viewers, 14 likes. Thank you for that. So this has been a wild ride. I hope this has been useful to somebody somehow. All right, goodbye, everybody.
What do you plan to do now?
I'm planning to eat lunch and think it through.
No. Okay, you're okay.
I don't have a selected direction.
You
yet.
answered the
That was
question.
good.
I don't have a selected direction yet.
That's a good idea. Have a couple of beers.
Yep. Okay. Goodbye. Ending the
Bye,
stream.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody. See you later.